Now, we have some scholars too. Okay. Now, we heard about the works of Leo Africanus and many other Arab scholars, but we had West African scholars. The question is, did we have any African scholars that gave a firsthand account of the empires of West Africa? Did we have them? Did we have them? That's the question. Yes, we have. We've heard about that. And so the West African scholars like Abdan Asadi, Tariq, he wrote a book called Tariq as-Sudan, okay? In this book, he was a little backstory. He was a learned citizen of Timbuktu who was born in 1596. And he published a book comprising of a chronicle of the Sudanese kingdom. So he talked about these kingdoms in vast areas. He gave accounts of the diplomacy that was happening, the princes, short biographies, and so on. So that's what he talked about, because he lived in that area at that time in Timbuktu, the major hub of education. And he was saying, okay, I'm going to share this information out here. Okay? So that's what he said. Now, all right, so another West African scholar, a book called Tariq al-Fattash by Mahmud Kati, he focused on the Songhai Empire itself. But the reason why he is an important figure is because it was held in high regard because he lived during the time when Askia Muhammad traveled to Mecca. He accompanied them. He was with them when he made that great pilgrimage to Mecca and came back. But he also was around when the Moroccan invasion happened in Songhai. So his work was just as important. Talked about their great works and the great things they were doing and have done. Okay, so they did the work. They were telling us about us, telling the people about us. It may have been in Arabic, it may have been in Wolof, or it may have been in Hausa, or even in Yoruba, but the story was being told. The story was being told. All right, now let's get down to it. The land of gold. What is this place? What is this land of gold? Okay, we already talked about the trade routes, okay, using what? The Catalan map. We talked about the West African mariners moving from, say, West Africa into the Atlantic, some coming back, some even inhabited the islands and the coast and so on in the Americas. There's plenty of work and plenty of books out there. One good one, really quick, is They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. That is a good one. Okay, all right. So, but now, what is this, the land of gold? What is this? Now, historian al-Fattash named Ghana as the land of gold. I wonder why is that? I wonder why he named that. I don't think it was not just for the gold deposits of the area. I don't think so. I don't think it was just because, in the rivers and the banks, they're just digging up gold and it was there, right? I think the people lived a golden way of life. Not just the gold, the material gold, but there was some other valuable things, and it was in the lives of the people. Golden way of life. That's what I think. Golden people. And so, and we think about how these Europeans was looking for I forget the great city of gold, but he's looking for this city that's made of gold. And no, the people are valuable too. The people are the most valuable thing. And so they lived the golden way of life. They promoted, now, how did they do that? They promoted new forms of social organization. They had this, they created an African feudalism, which was implemented as law and custom. They have, there was some Islamic law in place, but there was also a communal sense of living, also some Ubuntu, because of you are, I am, and it was some sharing going on, and it was, even matter of fact, West Africa was still matrilineal, so a lot of things, a lot of points of view and reference points was coming from the women of West Africa. Okay. Meanwhile, in Europe, their women was treated less than dogs, but our women in West Africa were handled and esteemed highly. Okay, and so that the people was also the land of gold, and the currency was knowledge, and these people, it was, they had law and order, and in the book on page 93, it says this was a civilization in its own right, standing to North Africa in much of a time of relationship of influence. Okay, their men showed no signs of jealousy, whatever. No one claims to be distant from his father, but on the contrary, from his mother's brother. So there were decency there. Okay, everybody had, you know. And al-Fattash would later learn that the word Ghana was given as a title for a king. I didn't know that. So their kings was named, that was their title, like Tariq or Sultan or many others. That was their title, or Insut Biti, that was the title. Okay, so al-Fattash would later learn that the word Ghana was given to as a title for their king in this place called the land of gold. Not just for the gold stuff, but for the golden people, right? So, Abu Bakr. What is this place called Abu Bakr? What is this? What is this? This was the capital of Ghana, Abu Bakr, the capital of Ghana, and it had two cities 6 miles apart, but in between those cities, there were towns full of covered dwellings. They not only had a king and a military, they had a dozen mosques there. It was a merchant city, clerics, notaries, imams, you name it, they had it. It wasn't just a king with a standing military and everybody threw hands. It was a place of knowledge and a place of education. The currency, yeah, they had other forms of currency, but one of their currencies was knowledge. Education is key, right? And so now Abu Bakr, yes, it was the capital of Ghana, but it wasn't far from Kano. Also, shout out to Kano, which is in the now is in the northern Nigeria area. But we have to understand that these regions were vast, and these kingdoms were great. So Abu Bakr was the capital of Ghana, of the Empire of Ghana at the time, and teachers were everywhere. It wasn't just in Timbuktu. It just wasn't just, say, in Morocco or Fez or somewhere. It was teachers and people of knowledge was everywhere, men and women. Let's be clear, okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit more about this place, okay? These people, when al-Bukhari describes this king and this kingdom, on page 85, he says, when he gives his audience, his people, to listen to their complaints and set them to rights, he sits in a pavilion around which stands his horses, enclosed a cloth of gold. Behind him stand 10 pages holding shields and gold-mounted swords, and on his right hand are sons of the princes of his empire, splendidly clad and with gold plated in their hair. The governor. So there's a king, then there's a governor who is also there too. The governor of the city is seated on the ground in front of the king, and all around him are his viziers in the same position. The gate of the chamber is guarded by dogs of an excellent breed. Now, here's the thing. I may want to visit the king, but I don't want to visit those dogs. No, you got it. And so the king wasn't just king by title. He actually presided and ruled with a concept of law and order and justice. He heard the complaints of the people. When was the last time you sent an email to your representative and they not only heard you, but something was done about it? I'm just saying. So there were great leaders, great empires, great kingdoms, great kings and queens. Kumbisale, it's to name a few. Of course, this is not just. I'm mentioning Ghana here, but it's not only Ghana, but Songhai was on par with it. Mali was also. It wasn't just say one place at one time. Here's an interesting idea about Africa and the empires of Africa. When one empire fell, some others popped up almost immediately. But when Rome fell, yes, we can deal with some symbolism of it and how other things came out in the West, but no, these actual empires rose and fell and rose again, and you can see that also in our Black neighborhoods in the Americas, in the United States. Okay, after slavery, it was happening. We had Black Wall Street. We had Queen City in Dallas. We had Frogtown. We had Freemantown. We had Freemantowns everywhere after the emancipation. It was happening live in color in the modern age. Okay, so that was not just Ghana, but Songhai, Mali, and many other places in that area. It was like a boom. It basically happened almost all at one time. All right.